Welcome back to New Realities. This is another program in the series to give a big push to an amazing conference coming up in San Diego, the San Diego Transcendence Retreat, with my co-host Suzanne Ross. And Suzanne, just give us a little outline of that retreat. And of course, we'll talk to our very special guest, Sarah Breskman Cosme. But tell us a little bit about it just to get people excited.
You're invited to join us for our San Diego Transcendence Retreat, taking place September 27th through 28th at the gorgeous Bahia Resort on Mission Bay. Our event includes presentations, workshops, meditations, and sound baths by some of the world's leading luminaries.
So when you go deep within anyone, you reach the same place. You reach universal consciousness.
When the flash of light comes, there will be a moment when the body starts to feel extremely heavy, like it just will feel like your body weighs 1 billion pounds. As we're moving into this higher frequency, the weight of the karma cannot come with us.
Those soul aspects that were in my field merged into the physical body. Ken is infused with a collective, an embodied collective of divine entities.
And Swami Yogananda, who was author of Autobiography of Yogi, came over in 1920, so 100 years ago. He tried to update the metaphor of Maya and illusion. And he said, well, rather than calling it Maya and illusion, he used the latest technology. And he said, it's like a film projector. Even though the characters in the movie are suffering, the actors are still there behind. And so he encouraged his students of yoga to look away from the screen and look at the projector.
Our event also includes a special mind sight and telepathy demonstration.
Now I have the 3 layers. I'm gonna walk down with him again, and someone could just open up any page in their pamphlet, and I will read whatever you point to.
With Dahlia and Lidu Burgoyne, and we've just added a metaphysical workshop with Daryl Anka.
The reason that I am creating the class by myself, teaching it as myself, is to spend more time, to delve more deeply into a lot of his principles, to provide illustrations, to provide examples, to really help people understand his concepts much more deeply, to make them their own.
You'll want to sign up for our sunset dinner cruise on the bay. Just visit San Diego Transcendenceretreat.com. Thank you, Alan. The San Diego Transcendence Retreat at the most gorgeous resort, the Bahia Resort on Mission Bay.
So happy that Sarah's with us today because she is so unique, so enthusiastic about the work she does, which is sort of a past life with Dolores Cannon QHHT, is it? And
Yeah, you got it right.
right. So tell us the latest, because you've been on the program with me and Suzanne before. What's happening for you?
Oh, well, I mean, I am really excited about knowing that right now our abilities are being activated. I mean, for everyone, nobody is left out of this. I know some people will think, oh, it's not for me. I'm not starting to, speak telepathically, but actually everything's being activated a lot. And so that is really happening to people right now. And it's like these abilities that have been hidden in our bloodlines and through all our ancestors are they're waking up, so to speak. They're coming back online. And that's really fascinating and also confusing for people that aren't really sure what is happening to them. I mean, and you can even see that we're in this like time cooker, with tons of synchronicities, all these things that you see when you look around you. I mean, I don't know if this is happening to you guys, but this happens to me. Have you guys noticed this, where the reality will shift and be like a totally different reality just in 5 minutes? Has this
Yeah.
ever happened to you? It's really,
so.
really amazing. Like, for instance, like people, well, for me, for an example, I lost my bag at the airport, like it didn't come. And then about like 5 minutes later, they found it. And then it was like a shift almost. Like it was almost like they had it's hard to explain, but like my reality was just different in a couple minutes. Not like that's probably a bad example, but you know what I mean. You'll
No, I
call
know what you
somebody
mean.
and
That happened to
everything.
me. I had to go to the iPhone, the Apple Store twice or three times because
Yeah.
it kept changing the circumstances. It was so strange.
Even
You
the
know?
Mandela effect, everything is changing. So I
Right.
think it's really um for a lot of different reasons because we're headed to what like everyone's calling the nexus point. I mean, people have been predicting this for years now that we're headed for a time when all the realities kind of merge into one reality. Nobody really knows how that will go, and it seems like it will be different for each person. But then it seems like the timelines seem to solidify. So,
Yeah.
you know how everyone talks about the bifurcation of worlds? Right now is the compression, the compression before the separation. And
Mm.
everyone's feeling this a lot. There's so much energy hitting the planet, coming up from the planet. The Earth herself is going through her process. There's just so much happening. So that's why I think it's really helpful to hear from other people that are really in the field, that are researching this, that are finding out what the heck is going on. I mean, even like with the three-eye atlas that people are seeing, I still have more research to do on this, but it seems like there is um, when my hypnosis subjects are looking into this, they see something is going in our orbit that seems to be very beneficial and beautiful, seems to have intelligent life forms that seem to be very positive. When this certain object moves through certain places, then it will activate certain sites. That seems very positive. However, they're also noticing that some of the, I guess you would say, um, the more nefarious groups, uh, on this planet, or the what some people call like the elite, or whatever you want to call that part of who want to keep us dumbed down, that want to control us and make money and keep everybody sick. They are also developing their own type of reverse engineered technology that people would see, and they would like to piggyback on this and make this a nefarious event. So if that happens, then any type of like activity they could blame on negative aliens, and they could really create a lot of fear, and then that would help them, you know, have more control over the population. So people are seeing two
Right.
different
But
scenarios.
I want to ask you, did you, well, what are you going to be doing at the big conference that's
Um,
coming in San Diego with Suzanne's
I'm going
conference?
to talk. I'm going to talk a lot about Atlantis and about Toth, and about how this information is resurfacing again. So information itself had to be hidden for thousands and thousands of years because it wasn't the right time. Even if you look in the 70s, it wasn't the right time. So now people that are researching this type of information are receiving it now. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, all about the information that Toth brought forward, and how he hid it, and how you can tell if you are storing some of this information, what this information is, more about Atlantis. And it's going to be really fascinating. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that at the conference.
Right, because, well, Suzanne, you have a question. Go ahead.
Do you feel, Sarah, and I think we talked about this during the life-changing regression session I just had with you, how this crystal temple city showed up and I was in the center, and I was able to at will be anywhere I wanted to be in the vast universe, different timelines, different dimensions. And one of the things that came up is that this is the return of Lemurius and Atlantis. We were more advanced, spiritual in Lemuria, technological in Atlantis. And right now we're on this accelerated evolution path to once again become those higher dimensional spiritual and technological beings that we were in Lemuria and Atlantis.
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely. We're on this fast track to go back to that. And you can see how this is playing out, how we're starting to release this trauma, and that allows us to become more in tune with who we really are, becoming more of our divine essence. The more you become more in alignment with your divine self, the more you raise your frequency, and then you become even more powerful in your abilities. And yes, we're headed in that direction. And that is, in a sense, what we're doing. And it's like, even like the symbol of the four corners symbol, for instance, the prophecy behind that, one of the prophecies is that we all split ourselves in many directions to come back to, again together, but to come back greater. And that's what we did. We lost it all to come back, but not to come back to it the same way, to come
Right.
back with more awareness, to come back with it being a greater, more, more appreciated gifts. And then we will appreciate each other on a much deeper level when we really understand who we really are and we see other people the way we're meant to see them, which is other pieces of ourselves, of source.
Right.
So it's really exciting. It's, I think people can feel the excitement in the air about what's to come, because what's to come is so beautiful. And we're not really living life to the fullest yet, like we used to in these other, civilizations. I mean,
Right.
even when people um, in their memories, like go back to those beautiful times in Lemuria, holding an apple, even, they would feel through their skin the consciousness of that apple, the communication of not only the apple, but to the tree. And then when they would eat it, the type of information they could feel coming in their bodies. That's what we are supposed to be feeling. We don't feel like hardly anything that we're capable of, or we don't even have the awareness and to really understand like what happens when we go even outside and the wind blows us and the communication that's happening to our skin. And there's so much that we're not aware of, but we're starting slowly to become aware of it because we're spreading these messages and we're tuning in deeper to ourselves and to the earth. And people know, now to go communicate with nature, that nature is also telepathic, and you can develop a relationship with a tree. People are becoming aware of these things. And then as we build and we learn more and more, then we will start to go back to that beautiful time, but do it greater with way more appreciation. And then also, what's exciting is who knows what's next, because humanity evolves in cycles. So it doesn't evolve in a straight line. We complete a cycle and then we move up. So what is next? That's new. That's what people are creating because it hasn't been created yet. So it's so exciting, the future, and we don't know yet. And that's exciting because all, experiments in different realms, you have the leading edge of creators, which are us. So we're at the leading edge. We're creating constantly. We're co-creating. It's like, oh, do you want to have, like, I don't know, something so magical? You can create it. And we're starting to go remember that magic is actually real and we are magical creatures, and we're returning to that beautiful magic.
Well, what's the strangest thing? I'm just curious because you hear a lot of stuff that's so out there and so way out and so maybe incomprehensible. So, what's the strangest, most incomprehensible thing or odd thing that you've heard that sounds like it could be true or real? I'm sure something stands out, right?
That happens all the time. I'm trying to think. That could be real. Well, I mean, just learning about like how people interact with like magical creatures and like um just
Well, give us an
fairies. Like,
example. Give us an example of something someone said without giving away their identity.
Well, I know someone personally just in this last session that was talking about their childhood and seeing a gnome.
So, so what do you make of all this? Is there a realm where the dragons and the angels and the gnomes and everything really exists, or is it a projection of a kind of archetypal symbol, or do they
Oh
really?
no, so many people see it. Yeah, so many
Right.
people see it. It seems to be very, very real. I've never seen one, but I've I know they're there. It's like I know they're there, but I think there will be a change within me when I actually see one. And I think that must happen for the people that have actually seen one. And so many of my clients have actually seen them or had experiences with them, which I find really amazing. And it seems that they are just all around us and they are in a higher frequency, but all around us are beings and creatures you just can't see because you're resonating at this frequency and you're only seeing what is also at the same dimension as the one that you're resonating with. But if you start to move move into a higher frequency, then you will come across these beings, you know, these fairies and these fairy creatures. And then it's almost like you yourself will be more magical. And it's really interesting how people, as they shift to, or as they're moving into a lighter frequency, they have a kind of glow about them, and you can see this shift happening. And that's interesting too, because even when people would describe these higher realms like Atlantis, Lemuria, they would see people with a glow. And so we're going to start to see more people with this type of glow, and it'll become more apparent too, which I find fascinating. But the opposite is true. Like people that have a more dense, nefarious type of energy around them, you'll be able to spot that. So it'll be easier to see who has good, positive intent and who doesn't.
You know what comes up for me with that is something Wayne Dyer said. You have to believe it to see it. So who sees these, fairies and gnomes and angels and spirits, past loved one, are young people. They see this when they're young. Like I was watching this show, The Ghost Inside My Child, but there was another one, Paranormal Kids. And the Paranormal Kids were saying, "Can't you see? Aunt so and so is sitting right next to me. Grandpa Joe is right over there. Can't you see them?" And then they would go out in nature and they'd be like, "Can't you see, the fairies in the trees?
Yeah.
Can't you see all these beings?" And the adults are like, "No, we can't," because we get this societal programming when we start to come into age 6, 7, it's not real, they're not real, and so we start to get conditioned to believe they're not real, they're imaginary. So then, they disappear for us. So, I mean, I think these other dimensions are right here, right now. We just have to expand our consciousness enough to be able to see them, or like you said, raise your resonance enough so that you can resonate with these other dimensions where these magical creatures are.
Totally. And that societal programming is programming us with so many different things. It's not just that. And then I feel like part of all this, process is to release that programming, to turn away from it and realize that none of that programming was even real to begin with. It's all fake. And that's why we have such a hard time believing in these things. And it's just because of these programs, but they're more real than the programs are.
Right. So where do we, I mean, where are we heading? And, like you said, yeah, there's this bifurcation of reality. But what are you really getting? Are the ETs arriving? Are they coming soon? I mean, from your clients, I mean, they tapped into something. What's going on?
Yeah, a lot of people are realizing that a lot of the ETs that are coming are here already. They're just in people. A lot of the star seeds are here. The star seeds that volunteered, they look they are basically human, but they realize that they are not from here. And so as we move through this ascension process and continue to where we're headed, they won't have to wear like a human suit to be here. There'll be like more councils like there used to be when we were resonating in a much higher frequency. You could have more of these benevolent, what you want to consider extraterrestrial races, come and teach and help and work together. Basically, it wasn't like they are above or anything like that. They were just working together with their different talents. But that people see in the future, just like they, that was very prevalent in the past. They couldn't be that way now. I even asked Toth, like, why don't you come back and start talking to all of us like you used to? And he said, I am here. I'm talking to you now through your hypnosis subject. So,
well, tell us a little bit of, you're going to be talking about Toth in San Diego. I know he's the god of writing, but I think he's more than that. I think it's like an archetypal presence that's been with civilization. But talk about what you're learning about Toth.
yeah, so he seemed to be almost like the Ascension keeper. At least that's what he considers himself to be, but not just for this planetary sphere, for any place that's going through the Ascension program, because this is almost like a program, like a computer program. This planet, if you want to call it that, agreed to go through this. So with that comes the architect of the program. So basically that's Toth, that's what he considers himself to be. And so he governs and helps with anything, any place that wants to go through the ascension. Basically what I've learned through him or through multiple hypnosis subjects is that once this earth agreed, then what happened was Toth came and basically set up the grid system, but this grid system allows for negativity to come to the planet because all ascension programs work with duality. So negativity had to come. So there's like a false grid set up to bring in negativity. And basically, as you know, growth requires negativity, is just how it works in this universe here. So in a sense, when he describes himself, he says he comes from a different realm, not this one, and his realm or his planet no longer really exists anymore. He never fully merged back with Source, because if he had merged with Source, he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. So he said, or I call him he, but he considers himself it. Or he went by 3 many, many years ago when he started showing up in some of my sessions. And he says that he comes here from some other place, but when we're in alignment with our true nature and we go through this ascension process and we actually move towards the golden age, that the whole rest of the universe experiences a type of bliss. So there's motivation behind this for him, as well as other versions of ourselves, you want to call them extraterrestrials, and other planes. There's a beautiful harmony that comes when we move back into alignment with all that is. And that's essentially the goal, is to help us go move into this ascension program and start to create, because we're powerful creators. Our belief system can create reality. So it's exciting for all to see what will happen next, but we have to do it this way. It has to be slow. We can't be given the answers, and we will never fully get to where we need to go. There's lots of chaos and negativity there. I mean, to get there.
So is he a form? I mean, Thoth is an Egyptian name. He has the ibis, but that's not really who he is, or is he I mean, does he have many names? Yeah.
Well, when he started coming, let me just give you the preface for this. This was my client who did not understand anything about Atlantis, Lemuria, or had never heard of Toth before. So she is a school teacher, just to give you the background, okay? So she said through her, she kept saying this being named three. So he goes by the number three. This being named three led the people, or this being named three wants to share this information. This being named three, he always, when he comes through my hypnosis sessions, has for many years gone by the number three because he claimed he wasn't quite male, he wasn't quite female, he was, all three. And then there's the Trismegistus, people call him.
Right, Hermes, right? Trismegistus.
Hermes.
Oh,
Yeah, but he's basically the Ascension program keeper. He's been here since the beginning and will be here till the end, and anybody could call upon him. And I think many people can channel him too because he is literally ready all the time to give messages. So he's
because
he
okay.
said instead of coming here where everyone could see him, he is here for anyone who asks, and he speaks through, many channels.
Because I identify with Hermes. I guess it's the same being then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe Merlin, is that part, or Saint Germain, or are they all different sort of beings?
Well, I asked him about that, and he said he was different than Merlin. And I asked him if he was the same as Jesus. No, he's different. Because they do, they do carry some similar traits, but no, he considers himself different.
Isn't that interesting, Suzanne? I mean, all these beings.
Very interesting. And I really like how you're saying this is a program because I've been reading this channel, the material, for quite some time now, which just really confirms this is actually an automated system. And we are happen to come to this point where we've entered this accelerated evolution plan that is part of the Ascension program. And Alan, we talked to Riz about this idea of, us being in a computer simulation. And I do think that is very possible, always remembering that we are sourced by the divine. It doesn't make us any less divine in nature, but at the same time, realizing that we are in this program and things are programmed to progress in a certain way that leads us on an evolutionary journey. I also like how you've been bringing up, the shadow is necessary. And this particular channeled material is saying that we actually incarnate with our opposite because that is how we evolve through duality. And you said exactly that it requires our our opposite in order to evolve with. Now, at the same time, when we come to the end of an age, then we will have this bifurcation where you might have then the new world order and the new earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But both are necessary. And so, everything is simply divine. If you have faith in the divine plan, you believe everything is being orchestrated, right, for the higher purpose that serves all. And so then you may have those who are ushering people into a new world order because that's what suits their evolutionary journey at this time. And at the same time, you have those who are ushering people into the new earth because that's where they're at on their evolutionary journey. But in a sense, we're all playing this game of duality, especially here in the third dimension.
I
Right.
agree.
Go ahead.
Helps to see it as a program. It really does because it's all the laws of the program are true. Like the law, what you put out, you receive. The law of, your external reality mirrors your internal reality. If you want to change what you see in your environment, you change your internal reality. So it helps in a way because um since it is a program, then you can manipulate it. You can alter it and manifest things that you want using that.
But do you think the laws of reality are changing? I mean, they are, as we
Yeah.
move to a different vibration, fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. That was an old way, duality, good, evil, bad, good, all that was. So I feel like we're moving into a whole new universe with new laws, a new evolution, a different way of thinking that is unknown at this point, but it's
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm glad you brought that up because
okay,
the
good.
laws do seem to be changing. And it's like, for so long we've been wanting to get rid of like the darkness, but now, as we move, we want to incorporate the darkness. So who knows what other laws will be changing and, what kind of new, basically, a universe we're creating. Be really interesting.
Right.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because I really do feel if you think about sort of the alpha and omega journey, right? You come from the light, we drop down through the dimensions, right? Until we wake up, and then we turn around and we return to the light. That's really the alpha and omega journey. So, here we are where light and dark are balanced or equal, but we're now turning towards the light. So every dimension, then from here back to the infinite light or the Ein Sof, it gets lighter and brighter and brighter, and soon we don't have these dense physical bodies. We're more in our light body, right? So there's more and more light the higher and higher we go. We just right now happen to be in this dimension which for our evolution requires opposing forces, right? That light and dark are equal here. But as we, ascend into higher and higher dimensions, it gets lighter and brighter. And so, that's the journey that all of the sacred books have been talking about for millennia, right?
So you're
Love it.
tracking this, Sarah, because these people come and sort of in real time, historical time, timelessness. There's this whole thing that emerges in your sessions. I mean, it's quite amazing how that happened. Do you want to talk a little bit about what happened to you, Suzanne? I mean, a little, you don't have
It
to.
was life changing, Alan, on so many levels. I mean, right away, I found myself seated inside this massive golden temple with 12 different towers, and each of the towers had a crystal sphere on the pointed top of it that were transmitting, receiving information. Each one of the 12 towers had a different purpose. I happened to be in one. And in this one, I was able to, at will, see and be anywhere in time and space, latitude, longitude, that I wish to.
Wow.
And so, we took a journey into different times and spaces, into different dimensions. We were able to time travel and we were able to, shift dimensions. So that was, extraordinarily fascinating. Past and future are one. And the future is affecting the present just as much as the past is affecting the present because these are causality loops, like the infinity symbol. And so you recognize that when you see everything happening all at once in one eternal now moment. And that just became so real for me. Everything's happening all at once. And Sarah has the ability to take you into who you are as the eternal soul who is projecting all of your various fractals into all of these different timelines and dimensions, the gamer behind the scenes who at will can see into any one of these timelines because for the gamer, everything is happening all at once, right? And so these concurrent, simultaneous parallel realities are just so amazing. And when you go into them and you become that fractal, what you're doing is you're reuniting with that aspect of yourself, you're returning to wholeness. So you're gathering all of these fractals of yourself so that you're not so fragmented. You start to then have these gifts, skills, and abilities of these other fractals. You download the knowledge and the wisdom that these other fractals have. So you just become more and more of your whole self, your eternal essence. And once you have that ability to see, it stays with you. Like it really, I already was seeing interdimensionally, but after this session, my gifts of seeing interdimensionally are even more expanded and refined. Also, she went into doing some healing. I've had many surgeries and such. She was able to help me release some scar tissue that's been there forever, just with the power of these different light technologies that my higher self was able to perform on me. I mean, I feel more radiant, more healthy than I have in years. So it's so multifaceted. I don't know if you can tell, Alan, but
I can tell. I think
You look really good.
no, you seem more present, more embodied, more expressive. Yes, yes. I something's happened to you. I guess it was Sarah. That's happened.
that happened to me.
Did you just
I'm
do
gonna
it?
do
When did you do it? Just like yesterday or
not
something?
that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forget,
wow.
last week. But I'm gonna do a group
Oh,
session for the participants that come on Sunday.
Yes.
That'll be magical in
that's a
itself.
workshop?
That's a workshop. And, it's incredible because when you're in a group, it's almost like using a crystal or an energy amplifier. The power of the group energy amplifies the session for the participants. So they can, accelerate their healing, accelerate just basically their movement through this session. So it's going to be very profound, very excited. I
Well,
love doing these.
well, no, that's one of the key workshops coming up at Transcendence Retreats, right, Suzanne?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's a 2-hour workshop. How do people sign up for that? I mean, how would they?
The workshops are an hour, and you just go to the website, SanDiegoTranscendenceRetreat.com, click on workshop, see Sarah's workshop there. And then on the tickets page, you just buy a workshop or 2 or 3, however many you want to buy. And then you get a link to our SCED app that lets you choose which ones you want to attend.
So in a
It'll be
group
so
thing,
fun.
yeah, how does it work with a group? Do you regress the whole group together? I mean, talk about how you're going to do that, okay?
Yes. And anybody that's been to one of my group regressions knows how magical these are. So there's no coincidence that the people that come to that group are there. Everyone is very meant to be there. And so I regress the entire group. I'll bring everyone under hypnosis into a nice, beautiful state of hypnosis. And then I will regress them so people can find out about their past lives or, more about their soul. And who knows what people will tune into. And then I'm going to connect them with their higher self. Maybe for some people, this will be the very first time they've had this experience, and it'll be so magical for them. And they can even heal themselves in this group regression that we're going to do. They can find out who they really are, like their purpose in this life. They can heal themselves. They can learn a lot. So it's going to be incredibly helpful to anybody that's working on themselves, has questions. Any questions you can get answered. And it's going to be different than going to a psychic because the answers come from deep within you, making them much more profound. You can see so many different things. So I'm going to be doing that at the workshop. That'll be amazing.
So is there anything about the group like past lives together? Do you find does that happen in the group? Like they've been
All the time,
oh,
all the time. So whatever group will be there will be very purposeful. They may not know it at the time, but they'll be more aware of this after the session. So, you know, I've done this before where the whole entire group actually experience like the same lifetime. That happened in Miami once. We were all together in Atlantis. Someone actually healed their chronic cough condition that they had had their whole life just from understanding this information, and they released it.
Wow,
It's quite
that's
profound.
fantastic. So I think I want to do that, Suzanne. Doesn't that sound amazing?
Good.
Definitely attend her workshop, Alan.
Well,
If you check my testimonials, I even had this woman, she did, you know, this a type of workshop like this with me, and she didn't even know that she had uh these type of spots on her eyes that were limiting her sight. But after she did this, they slid down her face and she could see perfectly. So you never know what type of response of healing, you know, your body and your mind and your soul will feel after tuning in deeply to yourself.
that's from just that one workshop. She had this amazing healing. That is fantastic.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, actually, this case, it was from 3 days, but still, it's the same thing, like tuning into, you know, basically the same, but spread out.
This is such amazing work. I mean, you're taking it to unexplored areas. I think you're taking it way beyond where Dolores Cannon took it, right?
Well, I am not her, and she is so magical and she's incredible. But I really love doing what I'm doing, and I want to just explore everything. I want to find out the secrets and the information of everything. And I mean, it's just amazing what you can find out from using all these people. And the thing is that I wasn't into any of this stuff, so I didn't even know, you know, when I first started speaking at places, a lot of people probably thought that I had researched this stuff for years, but little do they know, I actually was very new to all this stuff. I was literally just telling them what I received in my client sessions, which some of it matched up with what other people had received. I just had no idea. Like, I didn't even know that there were extraterrestrials really until my clients under hypnosis started sharing all this information. And then it's just like anything, when you really aren't sure if you believe it or not, I had no choice because they didn't even know about extraterrestrials. One of them didn't even believe in extraterrestrials. So here she could remember in full detail being an extraterrestrial. Over the years, you know, now of course I believe in all these things, but I really was coming about this as such a newcomer. So
Mm.
there's so much more I want to explore. And I really, um, I really sometimes it doesn't bump up against other people's material. And I really just, it doesn't bother me because I didn't know if this stuff was real or not before to begin with. I'm just documenting it and sharing it.
Right.
But it's definitely coming through multiple people for me to share.
But in your experience, because you had to probably be regressed yourself, was
Yeah.
there anything really out there when you were regressed that kind of opened you up to start with?
All my life, I wanted to live somewhere warm. And I went to college in Boston. That's where I graduated college. And I hated the cold weather. And I moved down to the Florida Keys. And I live on the water basically in the Florida Keys. Well, it all makes sense now. You know, why I moved down here because I'm actually in the location where I live closest to where I died in that lifetime in Atlantis. So, you know, I thought it was just a coincidence I moved here, but now I know that wasn't a coincidence. It surprised me, it shocked me. And then to have so many hypnosis subjects keep telling me that I've written all these books before. I mean, I was never a writer. I didn't want to write books. I just wanted to, I mean, it's exciting. I love it, but I didn't know that I had done this before, that I had documented things before. It just makes sense. So many of us are here to fulfill dreams of ours, or we're doing similar things again and picking up where we left off. I mean, my hypnosis subjects that didn't know one another said that I wrote the information that went into the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but really the book that I actually wrote was about Lemuria and like the survivors of Lemuria and the stories that they told me. Um, and I'm doing it all again, all the things again.
Well, it seems like to me, I don't know, that you were a high priestess there in Atlantis that was part of that same kind of soul connection that you're doing now. I mean, that's what I get.
Thanks. I'll take it.
Because you're a high priestess now in a way, right?
That's, of course I am.
No, you
You know
are.
my husband.
You are.
Yeah,
You are. You're doing the high priestess work. You certainly are. I mean, I think you are. So,
thanks. Yeah.
so it makes sense. Well, Suzanne, I think with Sarah there, with Ann Tucker there, with Lloyd, Ken Lloyd, Daryl Anka, Riz Verk. I mean, this is an all-star cast. This is an incredible collection of luminaries, of leaders in our field, in our little community here. And to top it off with a Sunset Cruise, you're going to love that, Sarah. And I just think it's a really good combination we brought together, Suzanne. I'm really happy that you're doing this. And
Thank you, Alan. Yeah, I really take a lot of joy in designing the best possible experience, bringing in the luminaries who are really dedicated to their craft, who are really dedicated to the awakening and ascension of humanity. And so, I think the lineup of speakers are also very complementary to one another. So they're each bringing in, a different facet of the ascension journey, a different topic related to the awakening of humanity. And then, of course, we have some who are guiding meditations, offering sound healing. Ken Lloyd will be doing transmissions. So it's a really nice combination of presentations, performances, activations, meditations, workshops, and then, of course, the wow factor is the sunset dinner cruise.
right. Do you know Ken Lloyd, Sarah? Do you know who he is? Have you seen him do his transmissions? Did you have a session with him, Suzanne? Did you have your session with Ken?
No, I did not ever get a session with him yet.
Oh, okay. Let's remind him about that. You're going to love him because it's a whole frequency thing he brings in. And a lot of good people there. Mark Anthony, you've worked with him, right?
I've never met him before.
Oh, well,
I'm really excited.
She was only there briefly at my event in March because she had to go to Colorado right after.
Oh, right. You left
Yeah.
us for Gaia. I can't. But what else do you have coming up? Anything else, Sarah? You're just going to be wandering around, doing your privates.
I will be there. I can't wait to see everyone. I'm just
Yes.
really excited. I love just, it's amazing for your parasympathetic nervous system to be with like-minded people. It helps, regulate your body and calm you down, and you can learn so much and be activated just by other people. So not only will all these amazing speakers be there, but being around like-minded people and talking about all the things you can't tell other people is really exciting. Just
Well, that's
sharing all the
good.
things and tips and things like that. I'm so excited for
Well,
that.
That's good because you're right. It brings the community of people together who want to talk about that, not just the speakers, but people are drawn there because they're also working on themselves. They're also evolving. We're creating a field vibration. So, it has these ripple effects out to the community as well. So I'm excited to be doing these things with you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, we have some great people lined up for March too.
Yes, we are getting a all-star cast lined up for that too. I'm so excited.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Sarah, thanks. How can people reach you and find you and book you?
So if you want to find me, you can go to my website, theholistichuhypnotist.com. And if you want to see some of my videos when I'm talking to Toth and some of the information that's coming through, you can check out my YouTube channel, Sarah Breskman Cosme Hypnosis, and I document everything in my book. So I write the Hypnotist Journey series, and my most recent book, A Hypnotist Journey to Avalon, is available on Audible and Amazon. So yes, you can just find me all there.
And you're writing a Toth book, huh?
I'm revising my book on Atlantis because it was banned, and so I'm redoing it.
So Toth was the one who brought the kind of archives from Atlantis to Egypt
Yes.
and buried it under the Sphinx, right? I mean, is that part of
Well,
it?
it seems he had people do that. So he led the way, but people did that, and they knew to do that because of him. So he has so many different teachings that he shared with some of the people, but those teachings couldn't be taught because people would be killed for them. Now they're being remembered, and I'm sharing that information. So I'm going to be, putting that in my book when that comes out, but I'm also going to be sharing about that at the Transcendence retreat. So lots of cool.
Well, we look forward to seeing your face there.
I look forward to giving you guys a hug. I love you guys. You guys are the best.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, this is New Realities. Alan Steinfeld with Suzanne Ross for the San Diego Transcendence Retreat, September
27th and 28th. Yeah.
Yes, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, in the Bahia Resort. It's a fantastic gathering of people, and you deserve to be there. Whoever's watching, you really do deserve it because this is the leading edge. Anything else you want to say, Suzanne?
We'll see you in San Diego.
See you in San Diego, Sarah.
See you in San Diego.